The first 10 exercises are played one after the other. The different figures accompanying them, the ideas contained in the first 10 exercises, and each figure in Paneurhythmy corresponds to a given idea, force, energy, which come from the divine, spiritual and physical worlds. It starts with the 3 fingers. The divine world works at the physical level with the number 3, which is its norm. That is, the thumb, the forefinger and the 3rd finger. In the official church, these symbolize God the Father, God the Son and the Holy Spirit. The 3 fingers touch each other, and the other fingers are forming a gentle bow. And in this position are put in the curves of the shoulders. Go aside and back again. What does this mean? This means planting a seed from the divine world. It is appropriate here to point out that initially the teacher had given this figure with palms up. Later on he changed it to palms down. Why? He knows. But this is a task also for us to ponder on. And now, the awakening. I am showing the figures of the hands, and the different figures that follow are related to the different 10 exercises. From this point onward, at a given musical moment, the hands reach forward to the solar plexus at a distance of a span. Why the solar plexus? Because it is the door of the cosmic love. The cosmic love comes into us through the solar plexus. When we send the thought to the solar plexus, then we conscientiously open ourselves for the cosmic love. Not that it doesn't get in otherwise. It gets in because the solar plexus is linked to the vegetative system, that is, it rules all subconscious processes in humans and animals. The subconscious is ruled by the supreme reason. Unconscientiously we again accept the cosmic love, but it is different when we willfully direct our thought towards the solar plexus. Then we get a two-way relationship. The consciousness attracts the energies of the wise nature. We conscientiously connect with them, a conscientious exchange of energies with the wise nature. Namely, this is Paneurhythmy, this and many more things. There hardly exists a thing which is not Paneurhythmy. All negative things are not Paneurhythmy. On the contrary, all positive things are Paneurhythmy. And so, talking about the 2nd figure, which is called reconciliation, the hands come to a level of a span in front of the solar plexus. The 3 fingers touch each other again. Now I will show it in profile. Once more, the same 3 fingers play a role in the first 10 exercises. The hand is directed in such a way so the fingers point forward and form a gentle bow, go to the level of the shoulders. Reconciliation. The awakening human soul seeks to establish contacts with all the awakening souls. Along the very soft curves of reconciliation, here is the time to note that all geometrical lines take part in Paneurhythmy. Straight, curved, mixed, or wave-like. They are naturally related to the different natural forces. The curved lines we are talking about at the moment are related to the energies of love. The straight lines are related to the energies of will. The mixed or the wave-like are related to the energies of wisdom. That is, the heart, the mind, and the will of the man participate in them, and that is why the teacher says that the will is the child of the heart and the mind. These two organs determine the child. The child takes after the mother and the father. Unfortunately, these two organs, through which the soul and the spirit express themselves, are not as perfect as the soul and the spirit themselves. The teacher says about them that they have completed their evolution. Therefore, both the spirit and the soul have completed their evolution, but the organs through which they are expressed, the heart and the mind, alas, are not as perfect. And here is one more task to solve for the intelligent person who seeks perfection. To make perfect our heart and mind, in order our will to be an intelligent one, namely a will of a higher order. Reconciliation. But why at the level of shoulders? We correspond with the physical world from the earth to the diaphragm, then from it to the shoulders, i.e. the lungs, the heart, and the solar plexus are related to the spiritual world. The head is an instrument of the divine world. In respect to the solar plexus, the teacher says that it had completed its evolution, the former capital of man. The first Christians used to get in contact with the angelic world directly through the solar plexus. And this capital, this gift to us from the superior wise beings, in fact, will be developed from now on. Here is our task, not at all an easy one, and a very serious and also very responsible one. Out of 50 brain centers, we use more or less only 10. See how many possibilities we have. The teacher says that there are no conditions on earth which allow creating this organ, the brain. Therefore, it was created under other conditions, and simply gifted to us by the first race, obviously newcomers belonging to superior civilizations. A magical gift for us people. We still have not mastered it completely, so we cannot use its full capacity. But the possibilities programmed in this computer are unbelievable, because man is a microcosmos, hence the forces which had created the macrocosmos, the megacosmos. These same ones have created man. These are the same forces. Because of that, the possibilities hidden in the macro and megacosmos are present in us as well. And in this way we could interpret that God has created man according to his own image and likeness. That is, the possibilities to be gods are also hidden in us. And we used to be such, but we were chased out of paradise. But that is another topic of conversation. Let me give you an example. Imagine that we are gifted a spaceship with the ability to travel in space to any point of space, but we have mastered to travel only from Sofia to Varna. The spaceship is technically equipped in such a way that we can fly in the whole universe. This is what our brain is. This is that magnificent gift presented to us by our friends, who had already walked the same road as ourselves and are aware of all the traps, temptations and chances for making mistakes. Hence, our task is to work and to develop our brain. Our nervous system is in a process of development, and it is stimulated if we, in full conscientiousness, first step on our toes and then on our heels. So, stepping first on toes and then on heels, the concussion of the brain and vertebral column is avoided, and the finest branching of our nervous system are being stimulated. As I have said, we have to keep the vertical axis and bring more attention to the posture and the steps. The steps should be small. Why? Because this is the way the evolution works. This is the evolution's way, gradually, without concussions, step by step, as the natural processes take place. We have already mentioned them a while ago. This is the normal pace of the first 10 exercises. The upright posture, the look is at the level of the head but a tiny bit above it. So, not horizontal, but a little bit above the horizon. The body is erect and the shoulders are straightened backward. We first step on toes, then on heels. The leading part is, as we said, the solar plexus. To this normal pace corresponds a normal step. Therefore, when in the future we say a normal step, we mean exactly this. Body straight, small steps, first on toes, then on heels. We have already explained the exercises. And now let's go back to the figures. The second figure is the reconciliation. Here the forces of love are working. Curved lines. Here we reach the boundary of the divine world. This is the border between the spiritual and the divine world. Well, please note that the first 10 exercises are developed here in the field of the spiritual world. The diaphragm, shoulders, but with the very first gesture, seeds are being planted from the divine world. The reconciliation, the soft principle, the love, they solve all the problems. Love scares the hell out of the devil himself, the teacher says. There is no other thing to scare the devil but love. And from here we get the transition to the giving. The hands are located in the area of the heart. The people who have long hands, like me, in order to make the giving figure out of the area of the heart, should pull their elbows a little bit backward. And then we have that motion forward of the hands up to the level of the waist and the diaphragm, as we are carrying a tray full of gifts or full of beautiful fruit. The fruit of our soul, love, meekness, kindness, and patience. Virtues that we have to develop from now on. The teacher says that the virtues are that capital around which the forces of the wise nature start spinning. That is why Paneurhythmy should be introduced as a subject for children to study in schools in order to teach them virtues. And so, the giving, the receiving, I give, I receive. Look here, I don't say I take, but I give, I receive. Because you cannot take something which is not given to you, but you can receive something only when it is given to you. I give with love and I receive with love. The great principle of the exchange of energies. The law of giving. The more you give, the more you are going to receive. A man should be like a spring. The more it gives away with love, the more it will receive. The more you plug the source, the more the water gets bogged, swampy, and loses its qualities. But if the water is actively moving and giving, it becomes richer and fresher. From the giving, here is a transition to the ascending. I'll show you in profile. The right hand goes up, the left hand backward, and the hands take turns one after the other. Talking about spring, the striving of the human soul locked in our body to go back quicker to its celestial place of origin. That is why it should go higher and higher and higher. But it cannot return so quickly because it has still more problems to solve on the earth. The look follows the hand. The thought goes through the hand stretched forward, then reaches the tips of the fingers and flies on and on far away. It is very important that the thought should go alongside the full hand length. The hand which goes backward also means that going upward, the thought goes through the hand, right to the tips of the fingers. That is, the hand is in the power of the thought till the last second, to the tips of the nails, and then the descending hand goes backward. The ascending is an alternation of joys and sorrows. Well, it is sad when there are sorrows, but when the joys take their turns, it is much more pleasant and better appreciated. When the hand is backward, it is in the valley of sorrow. When going up, we are climbing in the kingdom of joy. The joys bring us revelation. The sadness and sorrows reveal the secrets to us. Hence, we cannot avoid sorrows. At least this is true for the earth. Well, the ascending till one musical moment. The left hand waits for the descending right one, and both hands impetuously go upward, followed by our look. Our look usually follows the hands or hand going upward. This exercise is called elevating. The awakening human soul is eager to walk faster and faster on its evolution road. But it doesn't happen so quickly, but moves slowly as a boat in a calm sea. It moves our body, of course. This is a call for love, brotherhood, and unity. A call which tells us that the new era of love is coming. The new era, the new culture, and the new race, which love will bring to humanity. The heart is an expression of love. And the Slavonic race, like the heart of the cosmic man, has the task, while coming out on the stage, to show the possibilities of love, which can produce wonders, to lift man to the level of divinity. And so, a call for the new. From here, from above the left hand goes to the waist, and the right hand in front of the chest. The next exercise is called the opening. Here is one decisive line. The movements in Paneurhythmy are gentle, flexible, beautiful, and continuous. I'd say even elegant ones. But here and there we have an energetic accent, which shows a gesture of will. The straight line, I open myself to all positive things. Purity at 3 levels. Not only a clean physical life, pure thoughts, pure emotions, pure behavior, only positive ones. I close myself for all negative things. I'm not going to be jealous or envious or wishing the impossible, and so on and so forth. Everything negative leave behind. I will work only with positive things. The next exercise, both hands meet again in front of the solar plexus. It is called liberating. The one and only figure in Paneurhythmy for the first and the last time, the fist. As if we have got hold of a heavy metal chain or stick. And we intend to break it. Suppose it is a stick. I'm breaking it first in this way. Here I'm showing it in slow motion. In fact, touch the knuckles of the four fingers at a distance of a span from the solar plexus. I decisively break, I tear off and throw away. What do I tear off and throw away? I tear off the chains of karma. Please note in what line I'm doing it. Decisive is the gesture, but the curves are working here, that is, the lines of love. Only with love the difficult issues of karma could be solved. We live just in that time. In this liquidation century, everyone is here to pay his or her karma interests. Now is the time, although it is difficult for us, to pay for or to solve these problems of the karma, and to enter the world of dharma, that is, the world of love. Only by means of love, forgiveness and self-sacrifice, things brought by Jesus Christ when he came on the earth, we can solve this difficult problem. Hence we free ourselves. We tear off these chains. Then here comes the joy that we have released ourselves. All chains are thrown behind us. Behind me, all the negative thoughts, emotions and actions. I am entering a sunny and joyful world, full of flowers, love and harmony between all living beings. A man can conscientiously learn to love step by step, and this love to expand and expand and expand. This is one of the tasks of Paneurhythmy, to teach us to go beyond the restrictive notion of the selfish love, I love myself. I love a little bit more my wife, my husband, I love my child. I love my family, my relatives, my people, I love the whole of humanity. I love all the nature around me. I love the whole cosmos. I love the skies, the stars, the wind, the clouds. I love the sun. This is the ascending path of love. This is one of the methods of Paneurhythmy, to teach us to love. This love to expand more and grow and grow. In the dance, the love is presented in the 10th exercise. For the moment, we are still at the liberating, the joy of release. There is clapping in the same place, just a span from the solar plexus. And as if by a momentum, the hands go a bit higher. Clapping of hands, and then they form a beautiful bud of a rose, just about to crack open. This rosebud, just about to crack open, but not yet, is our soul, which enjoys the freedom from the chains of all negative things, emotions and actions, is just about to blossom into the beautiful flower of love. It blossoms later in the sun rays. Just a reference to the rays. Here is one flower in blossom, here is the bud. And now the joys of liberating. The hands are put again at the level of the shoulders and clapping again. From here, the hands are turned at a right angle to the earth and as if we embrace the air. The 3 fingers are again called to action. I am showing them. Near the mouth, then turned and transformed into such a movement as if we are scooping, breathing through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Breathing through the nose, then back, exhaling through the mouth. The exercise is called breathing but also purifying. Hence the air, when getting inside us, goes all the way through and purifies us, purifying purity in our body, purity of our thoughts, purity of our emotions, purity in our actions. That is, no self-seeking, self-interest. The teacher says, I recognize one church, the one which serves God selflessly. This is the divine church. And purified in this way, there is one other interpretation, planting of the word of God because we reach the mouth. We become transmitters of the word of God. And God breathed soul into man, created him according to his image and likeness. This is the 9th exercise, after which follows the 10th one, the flying. The impulse comes again from the solar plexus, transfers itself backward to the shoulder blade. I'll show in profile we're flying powerfully with the 3 parts of the hand. The physical, the spiritual and the divine. An upsurge comes from the solar plexus and is then transferred to the hands. The awakening soul wants to fly as the pigeons flying around us. All the other awakening souls as a flock of birds. Or I take the divine love, I use it, and I transfer it to all living beings. I am the aerial which receives it. I don't keep it to myself, but transfer it to all living beings. When Paneurhythmy is danced in the physical world, it is danced in the spiritual one as well. Here are the pigeons, they took off. This is the end of the first 10 exercises, which are figures on, as I have mentioned, the normal pace of the feet. And the foot left behind is the last to come back to the initial position. This is the principle in Paneurhythmy. It doesn't matter which one. First the foot and only then are the hands lowered.
Слава йде от сонця, пролет міла вечно йде, тяла то природа те, сонце тепло вече грей, носить цвітя і плодове, носить і песні і грі, повний всяка твар живот, буде радость Бог развеселява серця тобі. Грей, грей, сонце то благодатно, це убережно тяла та земля, і його піч вас переслі безброй цветя. Блязкові звезди, бриллианти, светлі сказания молвят. Грей, чистота луна, без пір лети по своя кот, по небес нашим, і не лят пристига след нужда. Сила і радость, младость і гордіч, славце доносить і вдохновлява, і возрастна в красота. Сила і радость, младость і гордіч, славце доносить і вдохновлява, і возрастна в красота. Этого рождался красивый день, этого славце тока нас играй, химни курата весело птиц.
One of the significant rules in Paneurhythmy is that the people playing the dance observe a certain constant distance, one stretched hand between the dancing couples. Even when the circle was not complete, the teacher used to require it, although the distance of one stretched hand could not be observed, at least the distance between the couples to be the same. These distances he called the gates. He used to often look at the dancing couples and say, "Close the gates, close the gates."
Присяду струна арфа нарилося дим, машло то сонце посрештами на раліно. Вечір сіяйний без звезди слідим, і луна та прекрасна в небесна ташір. Вечір сіяйний без звезди слідим, і луна та прекрасна в небесна ташір. Этого рождался красивый день, этого славце тока нас играй, химни курата весело птиченце пей, подруги граем по розмітриві цвітя. Светла та радость собі вілмоні грай, сила душа та безспірно і зліва нітя. Светла та радость собі вілмоні грай, сила душа та безспірно і зліва нітя. Парвія ден на пролетка, парвія ден на радоста, парвія ден на любовка, носила сила і живот, носила сила і живот. Парвія ден на пролетка, парвія ден на радоста, парвія ден на любовка, носила сила і живот, носила сила і живот. І земля та все очі обілно лей, свічко радва серітей.
The first 10 exercises could be viewed as the double spiral of the DNA molecule, which was discovered in the 20th century, and 3 of the 4 scientists were awarded the Nobel Prize. When I was a student in Italy, I visited the Vatican. I found myself on the top of a tower and started to climb down a spiral cobbled path inside the tower. When I got down and looked up, I realized that the path was double. That is, there were 2 paths, descending on both sides, but seen from above they seemed one. Perhaps my explanation is not very clear, but I want to point out that probably not the formula itself, but the idea of double spirals, that is in fact the shape of the DNA molecule, was familiar long before it was discovered in the 20th century. That is, numerous discoveries were made in ancient times, but they had to be rediscovered later on. In the first 10 exercises, as in a DNA molecule, we find encoded all most important moments of human evolution in the ascending path of the human soul, and this plays a crucial role for its further development. At this stage, they are only hinted at, given as a stroke, which is elaborated on with the enfolding of paneurhythmy. In the first, second and first section, I have given an example with clapping. Analyzing them, we can see how these figures evolve and blossom out to the fall. It is then that their implicit presence in the first 10 exercises is understood. They are just strokes, but significant ones. One-act processes like giving birth, for example, are outlined in the first exercises. They are given in a single gesture like a blooming flower. That gesture is never repeated again, but their essential developments are still to come. The apple blossom, for example, hides the ovary.
Природата около нас са дадени с един жест, който повече не се явява. Но други важни моменти, които ще станат.
At first we can only see a beautiful blossom, but the beautiful petals fall out. The really important thing is the ovary. It starts growing and it grows and grows until it ripens into a wonderful fruit. And the ripened fruits, the fruits of your labor, you will see only when you go into the invisible world, says the Master. It is not accidental that in the pentagram the tree has 12 fruits. The spiritual world works with the number 12. The first 10 exercises are finished. In fact, they contain the secret of the future development, the blossoming of human soul and the blossoming expansion of our consciousness.
Които включват всъщност в себе си тайната на последващото развитие, разцъфтяване на човешката душа и разцъфтяването и разширението на нашето съзнание.
Paneurhythmy is based on 7 main principles, 7 being a divine number, which are in fact the principles of the universe. They are the following. The principle of intelligent reason. All is wise in the universe, irrespective of our understanding it or not. The second principle is the principle of correspondence, of similarities. There are similarities between idea, tone, shape, color, number, etc. There are a lot of examples of these in life around us. The third important principle is the principle of vibrations or movements. Everything around vibrates and moves. The vibration and movement are different in frequency. Starting from physical through the spiritual to the divine world, the vibrations increase their frequency, the slowest being the ones of the physical world, becoming faster and faster and reaching its peak in the divine world. Another basic principle on which is founded the universe, and naturally it is valid for paneurhythmy, is the principle of polarity, the dualistic principle, the principle of male and female nature, the poles of the earth. There are poles in flowers and in plants. If we just look around, there are a lot of examples of polarity. The fifth is the principle of rhythm, the principle of periodic movement, repetition, rhythm. And examples of this we have plenty around us, starting with music and ending with the rhythmical repetition of the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter. There is also a rhythm in the historical processes and phenomena. Another one is the principle of cause and effect, the connection between the two. One very hard example is the issue of karma. Why do you punish us, Lord? The Lord is not the institution which punishes. It is a different one. The Lord is most benign, most gracious, and most forgiving. But we must drink as we have brewed in our present or past life, and we have to suffer and bear the consequences. Simply a cause and effect connection. The principle of unity, and we can call it different names, it depends on us. This is the absolute, the wise beginning, the intelligent nature, God. This principle of unity rules the whole universe, despite of the similarities being close or distant ones. They exist anyway. These 7 principles are clearly evident in paneurhythmy, if we take a scientific look at them. Exercise 11. Evera. Evera means born of God. Eve is the principle of birth. Ra, the Egyptian god of the sun. Evera, born of God. Performing Evera, we face the center. If we assume that the musicians are on the left and here is the center, this means that we face the center. In Evera, we face the center. Turn our back to the center and we face ahead. When we face the center, we work with the energies that descend through the musicians. If we assume that they represent the center, through the musicians, the divine energy descends in its purest form. For that reason, the musicians bear the great responsibility for the harmony. If harmony is disrupted, it immediately reflects on the whole circle and reduces the vibrations for all participants as a whole. The divine energy descending from above passes through the musicians to the dancers, turned to face the center of the circle. This is an acquisition of energy and our personal work with the energies that are received from the cosmos through the sun. First, the sun generates and then transforms the cosmic energies to make them suitable for us, three-dimensional beings. We cannot use the cosmic energy directly. It must be transformed by the sun. When we face the center of the circle, this is our individual work. When our back is turned to the center, we pass on all that we have received from our Father, from God. We pass it on to the world. That is, we contact the world when we face the periphery. There is something in Avera and in principle in Paneurhythmy to pay attention to when it is worked with the left side, that is the heart, the female principle. When we turn to the right side, that is the mind, the male principle. In Avera we turn to the left, then to the right, and there we move forward. The arms are at 45 degrees behind. Then they reach an angle of 45 degrees forward, and next they again go to 45 degrees behind. Why is this angle so important? The teacher rates it highly. This angle of 45 degrees actually amplifies the true electromagnetic currents in us, in our aura. This is because our aura isn't manifested only forward. It is above, behind, and beneath us. That is, we are as a yolk in an egg. I apologize for the pragmatic example, but it is figurative. We can compare the yolk with the physical body, which floats in the white of the egg that is surrounded by the eggshell. The eggshell is our aura. There is a fine fresco in the Cathedral Alexander Nevsky, where these three layers are quite clearly depicted in the image of Jesus. By the way, in the Gospel there is such a scene where there are a lot of people around Christ, and he says, "Who touched my clothes?" And his disciples tell him, "Thou seest the multitude thronging thee." And he says, "Who touched me?" Jesus with his aura feels that this is the woman that has had an issue of blood for 12 years, and with her great faith she touches his garment from behind to obtain energy from him, for she believes that if she touches him, she will be whole. And indeed she was healed, and he says, "Thy faith is great, woman." Due to her faith, she is healed. This means he feels who touches his aura, breaks his outer shell, and consumes his energy field, in the sense that psychics talk about the aura energy field. Whether we call it bioenergy field or aura, these are terms that mean the same thing. Thus, in Evera, keeping these 45 degrees forward and behind, we outline the boundaries of our aura. From the left side, we work with the energies of love, the female principle. Turning to the right, through the prism of the male principle. And then going forward, joy is born. That is, from love and wisdom, from the female and male. Joy, you paradise child, you divine and pure flame. We step quietly and charmed. O my goddess, in your temple, all your charms are joining people who do modern times are split. Brothers do become all people when you flutter your wings. Schiller's Ode to Joy at the end of the Ninth Symphony by Beethoven, which is the hymn of the European Union, gives us the musical equivalent of this Ode to Joy. Thus, from love and wisdom, the joy is born, and the move forward is ahead to the truth, the supreme reality. And I'll show it in front of the VCR to be clearer. Here it is left, right, forward. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Through love, through joy, towards the truth, through wisdom, through joy, towards the truth, the supreme reality. How should we study the exercise Evera? After the first 10 exercises, which, as we said, are a small cycle, and they follow an ordinary course. In the first 10 exercises, we don't think about the feet. After that, however, it is necessary to learn the steps at first and then the movements of the arms. That's why I will show you the steps of Evera. First position. The body weight is on the left foot. The body faces the center. The right foot is ready to start. That is, the toes are in contact with the ground in forward position. For convenience, when I'm displaying the steps, I'll put the hands on the waist in order not to distract the attention. I start with the right foot. 1, a step forward. 2, a step forward. 3, return to the right foot. Left, right, we return to the left. Right, left, return to the right. Left, right, return to the left. Right, left, return to the right. 1, 2, face the center. 1, 2, back is facing the center. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. First position. The body weight is on the left, facing the center, the orchestra. The arms reach the angle of 45 degrees behind with the palms towards the body. Step with the right foot. The arms go forward with a delicate flight. The eyes follow them. Return to the right foot. The arms pass tightly along the body, reaching an angle of 45 degrees behind. Left foot. Flight, returning to the left foot. Right, flight, returning to the right foot. Left foot, right foot, returning to the left foot. Right foot, left foot, backward. The exercise finishes with a flight, a delicate flight forward. What do these movements express? The energies from the earth pass through us, travel to the sun. We receive the energies of the sun, they pass through us and go to the earth. This is the regulation of the sun and earth energies in us.
Evera. Скачане.
Jumping. The participants face the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Flying upward. The exercise finishes when the arms are taken down at the side of the body. What does this exercise mean? Jumping is the only exercise in which the participants bend down, bow before the great Creator, before the great intelligent beginning, gratitude for that which God gives us. Life, love, harmony, conditions to manifest us. That is the bow. That is the joy. Clapping, an expression of joy, and when the arms are upward, we always have a link with the divine world. Completing the exercise, the arms are taken down alongside the body. That is, we take down the divine energies through the spiritual world down to the physical world.